Donald Trump, you know the name, you've seen the hair, love him or hate him, there's no denying he's left a mark on America like a Sharpie on a white shirt collar. He's the businessman who became a reality TV star who became the leader of the free world, and he did it all by breaking every rule in the book. Trump's presidency was a wild ride, full of tweets, tantrums, and enough scandals to make your head spin. He divided America like never before, pitting red against blue, rural against urban, and fact against, well, whatever Trump happened to be tweeting that day. But here's the thing about Trump, he tapped into something real. A deep well of anger and frustration among people who felt left behind by globalization, ignored by the political elite, and tired of being told how to think and what to believe. He promised to make America great again, and while his definition of greatness might be debatable, his message resonated. He gave a voice to the voiceless, even if that voice often sounded like a foghorn in a hurricane. Donald John Trump was born with a silver spoon so big it could probably scoop out the Grand Canyon. His dad, Fred Trump, was a real estate mogul who built his fortune on affordable housing in New York City. Young Donald grew up in a 23-room mansion in Queens, went to private schools, and basically lived a life most kids only dream of. But even though he had everything handed to him, Donnie Boy still wanted more. He craved attention, success, and the kind of wealth that could make even Daddy Trump jealous. After a brief stint at Fordham University, Trump transferred to the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, where he studied economics. Now, Wharton's a fancy school, but let's be real. Trump's real education came on the streets of New York City, learning the art of the deal from his dad. He joined the family business in 1968 and quickly started making his mark. He was brash, ambitious, and not afraid to bend the rules or maybe break them entirely to get what he wanted. The 1980s were like the Trump show, but before reality TV was even a thing. He plastered his name on everything from skyscrapers to casinos to airlines, becoming a walking, talking brand. He wrote The Art of the Deal, a book that became a bestseller, even though most people probably just skimmed it for the pictures. He bought the Plaza Hotel, because who needs a home when you can own a landmark? But like a gambler who pushes his luck too far, Trump's empire started to crumble. His casinos went bankrupt, his airline went kaput, and he racked up more debt than a college student on a spring break bender. But did this stop the Donald? Nope. He just pivoted. He slapped his name on steaks, bottled water, even a board game. And then, he hit the jackpot reality TV. The Apprentice made Trump a household name again. He became the ultimate boss, firing people with a single word: "You're fired." Millions tuned in every week to watch him berate contestants and dispense his own unique brand of business wisdom. Now, Trump wasn't always a Republican. In fact, he used to be a Democrat, or maybe an independent. Look, the man's political compass was about as reliable as a weather vane in a hurricane. But he always loved the spotlight. He flirted with running for president in 1988, 2000, and 2012, but it was more about stroking his ego than actually winning. He did, however, discover a knack for tapping into people's anger and resentment. He became a leading voice in the birther movement, questioning Barack Obama's birthplace and legitimacy as president. He also mastered the art of the Twitter rant, using social media to bypass traditional media and connect directly with his followers. He could launch a 140-character attack faster than you could say "Kafafe." By the time 2015 rolled around, Trump had morphed from a businessman into a showman, a master manipulator of the media, and a lightning rod for controversy, and he was just getting started. Section 5. The Unexpected Victory, 2016, and the Rise of Trumpism. Nobody saw it coming. Not the pollsters, not the pundits, not even the Democrats. But on a warm November night in 2016, Donald J. Trump defied all odds and became the 45th president of the United States. His campaign was unconventional, to say the least. He insulted his opponents, made outrageous promises, and seemed to thrive on chaos. He tapped into a deep well of anger and resentment among white working-class voters who felt left behind by globalization and ignored by the political establishment. His victory shocked the world. It was a rejection of the status quo, a middle finger to the political elite, and a sign that American politics had entered uncharted territory. Section 6. The Trump Presidency, 4 years that changed America. Trump's presidency was a whirlwind of controversy, chaos, and constant Twitter storms. He pulled out of international agreements, started trade wars, and cozied up to dictators. He appointed 2 conservative justices to the Supreme Court, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh, shifting the balance of the court for a generation. He enacted tax cuts that primarily benefited the wealthy, arguing that it would boost the economy. It didn't really work out that way. He also implemented a hardline immigration policy, separating families at the border and attempting to build a wall between the United States and Mexico. Spoiler alert: Mexico didn't pay for it. Through it all, Trump remained a polarizing figure. His supporters saw him as a strong leader who wasn't afraid to speak his mind and shake things up. His detractors saw him as a dangerous demagogue who was eroding democratic norms and dividing the country. Section 7. The Fall of the House of Trump, Election Loss, and Capitol Chaos. The 2020 election was one for the history books. Trump faced off against Joe Biden, a veteran politician who promised to restore normalcy and decency to the White House. Trump campaigned hard, holding rallies across the country and claiming that the election was rigged against him. When he lost, he refused to concede, making baseless allegations of voter fraud and inciting his supporters to challenge the results. On January 6, 2021, a mob of Trump's supporters stormed the United States Capitol in a desperate attempt to overturn the election results. The attack shocked the nation and led to Trump's second impeachment, this time for incitement of insurrection. Section 8. The Aftermath, Trump's enduring grip on American politics. Even though he's no longer in office, Trump's influence on American politics is undeniable. He remains a powerful force within the Republican Party, with many GOP candidates seeking his endorsement and embracing his populist message. He continues to hold rallies, spread misinformation about the 2020 election, and tease a potential run for president in 2024. Love him or loathe him, one thing's for sure: Donald Trump isn't going away anytime soon. Section 9. A Legacy of Disruption, Trump's Place in History. So, what will history make of Donald J. Trump? It's too early to say for sure, but one thing's for certain: he's left an indelible mark on American politics and society. He's exposed deep divisions within the country, eroded trust in institutions, and normalized a level of political discourse that would have been unthinkable just a few decades ago. Whether his presidency will be remembered as an aberration or a harbinger of things to come remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure: Trump's legacy of disruption will continue to shape American politics for years to come.